My wife's sister cheated on my best friend, so I helped him disappear. Now my in-laws are harassing me, and my wife says I betrayed the family. About 5 years ago, I moved about 15 hours away from my hometown for a job. Shortly after moving, I met my now wife, Becca, 32F. A few years ago, I had a buddy, Junior, 30M, from back home come stay with me. While here, he met my wife's sister, Maggie, 28F. Junior and Maggie hit it off. They pretty quickly started dating. Maggie has a daughter, 4F, from a previous relationship, and the daughter's dad is very much in the picture. Almost a year ago, Maggie and Junior moved in together. At the time, Maggie was living with her parents because she could not afford rent on her own. Things seemed to be going well. It is a long story, but almost 2 months ago, Junior got pretty irrefutable proof that Maggie was cheating on him. He was angry, depressed, and overall distraught. He could not deal with confronting her, but he also could not deal with living with her. He talked to me and wanted my help to get away. So, I reached out to my network of people, who are not mutual friends of Becca and me, to get him a place to stay. Becca, Maggie, Maggie's daughter, and my mother-in-law were going out of town to visit my mother-in-law's mom a few weeks after he found out. I had a work friend with a rent house. I helped Junior pack his stuff, which was like 90% of the apartment, and he moved out. He sent an email to Maggie about why he moved out. He left a check for rent and utilities through the end of March when their lease was up, and he informed the landlord that he was not renewing. Maggie got the email and called Junior numerous times while on the trip. My wife called me and asked what was going on and where Junior was. I told her that Junior moved out and he was safe, but I would not tell her where he was. They got back, and Maggie flipped about all the stuff Junior took. My wife was quite angry and demanded to know where Junior was. I kept telling her that he was safe, but I was not telling her where he was. The last month has been tense, and my wife has begged and made threats to know where Junior is. She has even tried using my phone to impersonate me to call Junior and get information. I have since changed my passcode. She says, "We are married, this is affecting my family, I deserve to know." I refuse. She has even talked about this being divorce-worthy. Ida? Edit. My wife knows why Junior left. Maggie has admitted since he left that she was cheating. My wife denies knowing about the cheating, and I do believe her. Historically, Maggie and Becca are not close. Prior to Junior moving here, we would see Maggie maybe once every 3-ish months. Since Junior moved, we see her a lot more because Junior and I regularly organized get-togethers. Which is why my wife's reaction is surprising to me. The stuff Junior took was only his stuff. In fact, a lot of stuff he left is also his stuff. Other than gadgets, he left all the kitchen stuff despite it being 100% his. He left all the stuff in my niece's room, even though he paid for a lot of it. Relevant comments. How did Junior find out about Maggie's cheating? OP, text messages with her affair partner. Maggie freely admits she was cheating. She even admitted it in voicemails and text messages to Junior after he sent the email. There is no dispute about that. Did Junior take some of Maggie's stuff when he moved out? OP, none of what we moved out was her stuff. I helped him move in, it was his stuff. There were big ticket items like the bed, living room TV, couches, and dining room table, but it was all stuff he had before he moved here. Much of it he had before they started dating. Commenter 1, I get the feeling that there is info being left out, but I can't really put my finger on what it is, so I'll ask a few questions. Who was Maggie cheating with? Op, a coworker. How old is Maggie's daughter? Op, well, Junior is trying to figure that out. He is considering whether he is staying here or moving back home. What's the long-term plan here? Op, he is not going to remain in hiding forever, but right now, this is the situation. I suspect in the next 3-ish months, he will figure out what his plan will be. In the meantime, I am not saying where he is to my wife. Commenter 1, this guy is your best friend, and you just plan to keep him secret forever? Why is your wife so invested? Does she feel that she got closer with her sister since Junior was there to get everyone together, and now that he is gone, she fears she will lose this closeness? Please ask your wife, what would she say or do if she did know where Junior is? She plans to bully him into coming back, or what? If Maggie was so dependent on this relationship, why did she cheat? Does she have a history of cheating? Op. Maggie was always the kid who could not get her stuff together. It annoyed Becca to no end. With Junior moving in, it felt like Becca was getting her stuff together. Now, she is afraid things are going to revert. My in-laws are frustrated by the possibility. They like Junior and want to talk to him to see what they can do to salvage the situation. Junior is one of the nicest guys in the world and does not want to upset them. Ultimately, they feel like they have seen Maggie actually be a functioning adult and are deeply afraid if Junior leaves, she will just stop doing that. Maggie's daughter is 4. Op on the possibility of his wife cheating and Maggie covering it up for her. OP, my wife and I have Life 360, we work in office buildings next to each other, that is how we met, and when not working, we do spend most of our time together. Could she be cheating? Absolutely, but it would be pretty difficult for her to do it. Op responds to a downvoted comment regarding getting involved with Junior's situation. OP, this situation does concern me. First, this is, outside of my brother, the man closest to me in the whole world. Second, he asked for my help in this situation. Third, he was with Maggie, at least in part, at my prompting or suggestion after they met via me. I have no idea where you see me saying it is none of my business. I am saying I have been asked to keep Junior's location confidential, and I am doing just that. Should not be concerned about his niece's relationship with Junior? OP, he told her goodbye. He did not tell her to lie. Of all the people here, she is not upset about him being gone. Her dad poisoned the well and told her to keep her distance from him, and she generally did. She is not upset at all that he is gone. Commenter, if Maggie and Becca were not close, why was your Becca so angry? If she knows that Maggie cheated, why is she threatening divorce over it? Does she condone Maggie's behavior? If she doesn't, then she would side with you and respect Junior's right to privacy. At the very least, she would stay out of it. This is why hooking people up is so hard, because at some point, you'll be choosing sides. Maggie cheated and will have to live with the consequences of her actions. I would have a long talk with Becca about her behavior and the stance she took against you and Junior. She chose to side with the cheater, which says a lot about her character. You might want to check out what's going on with Becca that she would choose the side of a cheater. When you side with a cheater, you might be one yourself. Don't hold that against me. So you're not the jerk, but Becca and Maggie are. Junior ghosted Maggie, and that needs to be respected. He doesn't want a confrontation, and he doesn't want to hear her lies. As his friend, you don't have the right to betray his confidence. Not even to your wife. Up. Becca's tendency when stuff hits the fan for anything is to go into fix-it mode. She is an engineer by training, and she gets incredibly angry at anything that she perceives as in the way of fixing a problem, issue, bug, etc., and her default belief is that anything can be fixed. She thinks what Maggie did is lousy. But there is no way to undo it, so why fixate on it? She thinks the only productive thing to do now is try and fix it. She thinks she can fix it. I am telling her no, you can't, and in her mind, I am stopping her from fixing it. So, she is very ticked at me for it. Update, 1.5 months later. Weeks after the post, Becca let slip that I knew where Junior is located. This caused a slew of harassment from Maggie and my mother-in-law. I refused to tell them where he is. Some choice words were exchanged between Maggie and me, and I told her she is not allowed in my house until she apologizes. She refuses, so I have not seen her or my in-laws in about a month. Since the end of March, Maggie has been living again with my in-laws. Becca tried to get me to agree to let Maggie and my niece move in, but I refused based on the conflict I have with Maggie and Becca's behavior the last couple of months. Becca explained to me why she has been behaving the way she has. Maggie's ex has said that if Maggie moves back in with my in-laws, he is going to go for full custody of my niece. The neighborhood where the in-laws live is rough, and there is a fair bit of conflict between Maggie and my father-in-law. Since moving back in, my niece's dad's lawyer has reached out and indicated that they are going for full custody. Becca is blaming me and Junior for this. She is convinced that if they knew he was leaving, they could work something out to keep them together, or at least keep Maggie in the apartment. I do not think that is the case at all. Junior is still processing things but was willing now to speak to Maggie, so he reached out a couple of weeks ago. This past weekend, Maggie and Junior spoke via FaceTime. Maggie wanted an in-person meeting, but Junior absolutely refused. Maggie apologized and tried to get Junior to reconsider for their daughter. Junior refused. Maggie had an emotional outburst, and Junior hung up on her. There is no plan for him to speak to her again. Relevant comments. Was Maggie on the lease with Junior? OP, she was on the lease with Junior. She did not qualify for the apartment on her own and cannot meet their qualifications. The situation between my in-laws and Maggie was contentious before she moved in with Junior. I do not know if my niece's dad will win the custody battle. But what I do know is, my niece has expressed being scared at my in-laws' house. Maggie cannot afford to fight him on custody. Generally, the best interest of the child is the standard in our state, and the living situation with her dad would be significantly better. Commenter 1, your wife is delusional. Do not let Maggie move in. She will never move out. Commenter 2, Maggie messed up. Maggie continues to mess up. And Becca is trying to make Maggie's mess up your problem. Or Junior's. And it's neither. You don't need to take care of Maggie and her kid because she has an active father who likely has a valid reason to be upset about the current situation. Maybe Maggie having no custody will wake her up, because all of this is through her own actions. She had a good guy, and she cheated. She can't take care of herself and her kid, and her parents have issues with her. The common denominator is Maggie. And you need to have a conversation with your wife that this isn't your problem and you don't want to make it be your problem. Becca needs to recognize that Maggie is her own worst enemy. Becca needs to figure out if she wants to keep that drama in her life. You can easily walk away, and that's a conversation that should come up. Commenter 3, NTA, and honestly, you've been the only adult in this situation. Becca blaming you and Junior for Maggie's custody issues is wild, considering Maggie's own choices blew up her life. Junior owes her nothing, and the fact that she tried to emotionally manipulate him for their daughter is so gross. Like your daughter deserves love, not guilt-leveraged relationships. You set boundaries, stuck to them, and protected someone who needed space to heal. That's not betrayal, That's loyalty with a spine.